What keeps us healthy and happy as we go through life? If you're going to invest now in your future best self, where would you put your time and your energy? There's a recent survey of millennials asking their major life goals, and over 80% of them said a major life goal was to become rich. And another 50% of those same young adults said a major life goal was to become famous. What if we could study people from the time they're teenagers all the way into old age to see what really keeps people healthy and happy? We did that. The Harvard study of adult development may be the longest study of adult life that's ever been done for 75 years. We have tracked lives of 724 men. Since 1938, we have tracked lives of sophomores at Harvard College and a group of boys from Boston's poorest neighborhoods. All of these teenagers were interviewed, and these teenagers grew up. They became factory workers, lawyers, doctors, one president of the United States. Some developed alcoholism, and a few developed schizophrenia. And some made it from the very, very bottom to the very, very top. And some made it in the opposite direction. The founders of this study would never in their wildest dreams have imagined I'd be standing here 75 years later telling you this study still continues. Many of the inner Boston men ask us, why do you keep wanting to study my life? My life isn't that just interesting. Even today, we interview them. So what have we learned? Well, the lessons aren't about wealth or fame or working harder and harder. The clearest message we get from this 75-year study is that good relationships keep us healthy and happy, period. We have learned 3 big lessons about relationships. The first is that social connections are really good for us and that loneliness kills. The second big lesson we have learned about relationships is it's not just the number of friends you have. It's the quality of your close relationships that matters. It turns out living in the midst of conflict is really bad for our health. And living in the midst of good, warm relationships is protected. And the third big lesson that we have learned about relationships, that good relationships just don't protect our bodies. They protect our brains. So what about you? Let's say you're 25 or 40 or you're 60. What might leaning into relationships even look like? The possibilities are practically endless. It might be as replacing screen time with people time, or making use of relationships like date nights or long walks, or reaching out to a family member you've never spoken in years. Because all too common family feats take a terrible toll on people. I'd like to close with a quote from Mark Twain. More than a century ago, he was looking back on his life, and he wrote this: "There isn't time so brief as life for bickerings, apologies, heartburnings. There's only time, but a loving, so to an instant, so to speak. A good life is built with good relationships." Thank you.